Listen closely, because this message is not for everyone. This is not for the distracted, the doubters, or the ones who casually scroll past destiny without recognizing it. This is for the one who has felt different their entire life, the one who has been misunderstood, delayed, resisted, tested, and refined. This is for the one who has been carrying a weight that others never noticed, praying prayers that felt like they were spoken into silence, standing firm even when nothing around you made sense. Tonight, heaven is leaning in your direction, and something ancient, intentional, and deliberate is unfolding right now in your life. You see, there is a reason you survived what should have destroyed you. There is a reason doors closed in your face, even when you did everything right. There is a reason people walked away, opportunities dried up, and timelines shifted in ways that felt cruel. You thought you were being rejected, but you were being protected. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being positioned. God was separating you quietly, carefully, pulling you away from the noise so you could hear this moment clearly. Only 1% are trusted with what is coming next, because not everyone can handle the responsibility of overflow without losing their soul. You have been trained in obscurity. You were disciplined through disappointment. While others were celebrated early, you were hidden. While others were applauded, you were overlooked. But what they did not see is that heaven was building your foundation deeper than your visibility. You were learning patience when you wanted speed. You were learning humility when you deserved recognition. You were learning obedience when quitting would have been easier. That is not punishment, that is preparation. And preparation always precedes promotion. Tonight is not about luck. This is not about coincidence. This is not about random blessing falling out of the sky. This is about alignment. This is about timing. This is about a divine decision that says the season of surviving is ending and the season of stewardship is beginning. Billions are not being released to impress people. They are being released to fulfill purpose. And God does not fund chaos. God funds vision. God funds obedience. God funds those who will build, restore, uplift, and transform generations beyond themselves. You have asked yourself quietly, sometimes late at night, why your heart is different, why you cannot settle for average, why comfort never satisfies you, why success without meaning feels empty. That restlessness was placed inside you on purpose. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to chase small dreams. You were wired for impact, designed for influence, called to shift systems, bless families, and break cycles that existed long before you were born. That calling requires resources, and resources are being released to those who can be trusted to move with integrity when the numbers change. Do not underestimate what has been happening behind the scenes. Conversations you are not in, decisions being made without your knowledge, doors being unlocked by hands you may never meet. God has been speaking your name in rooms you never entered. While you were focused on surviving the day, heaven was arranging your tomorrow. And now the announcement is being made in the spiritual realm that the weight you carried qualifies you for the wealth you are about to manage. But understand this clearly, only 1% make it to this level. Not because God plays favorites, but because most people quit when the pressure rises. Most people compromise when waiting gets uncomfortable. Most people chase validation instead of instruction. You stayed, you endured, you obeyed, even when obedience cost. Your relationships, comfort, and clarity. You chose character over shortcuts. You chose growth over applause. And that choice is echoing loudly right now. This is why the shift feels sudden, but the process was long. This is why it feels unexpected. But you were actually ready long before you realized it. You have been stretched so your capacity could expand. You have been emptied so you could be filled correctly. God had to make sure that when billions touch your hands, they do not touch your ego. When influence surrounds your name, it does not replace your humility. When access increases, your discipline remains intact. Tonight marks a turning point, not tomorrow, not someday, not when everything looks perfect. Tonight. The moment you hear this, something is unlocking internally. Fear is losing its grip. Doubt is losing its voice. Confusion is giving way to clarity. You may not see the full picture yet, but you feel the shift. Your spirit recognizes this moment because it was written long before you ever questioned yourself. This is not hype. This is confirmation. You were chosen not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Not because you never struggled, but because you never surrendered your assignment. You kept believing even when belief felt foolish. You kept moving even when progress felt invisible. You kept trusting even when silence was your only response. And heaven records that kind of endurance. What is coming will require wisdom, not just excitement, discernment, not just celebration. You will have to move differently, think differently, protect your peace more fiercely than ever before. Not everyone who claps for you will be connected to you. Not every opportunity that looks good will be God. You are stepping into a realm where distractions are dressed like blessings and discernment becomes your greatest currency. This is why God dealt with your heart before touching your hands. This is why isolation became familiar. This is why your circle became smaller. This is why your standards rose while others fell away. You were being refined for rooms that require silence before speech, listening before action, and humility before authority. Tonight, the transfer begins. Not just money, but access. Not just resources, but responsibility. Not just elevation, but accountability. And while others may only see the outcome, you will always remember the process. You will remember the nights you cried alone, the prayers whispered through, exhaustion, the faith that held on with trembling hands. That memory will keep you grounded when everything else accelerates. Do not announce this season prematurely. Let results speak. Let consistency speak. Let impact speak. The chosen move quietly until heaven makes the noise. You do not need validation now. You need alignment. Stay close to God. Stay sensitive to instruction. Stay disciplined when temptation increases. Because abundance tests character more aggressively than lack ever did. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are arriving exactly on time. The delay protected you, the pressure shaped you, the silence matured you, and now the release is synchronized with who you have become, not who you used to be. Tonight is not the end of your story, it is the acceleration of it. And while others may sleep through this moment, the 1% feel the urgency in their spirit. They know something is shifting. They know the atmosphere feels heavier, charged, intentional. They know this is not just another message, it is a signal. So breathe, stay present, stay humble, stay ready. Because what God is placing in motion now will unfold step by step, layer by layer, door by door, and the next phase will require you to move with precision, courage, and avering trust as the first confirmations begin to appear in ways that feel subtle at first, but will quickly compound, multiplying momentum, drawing the right people, redirecting paths, and revealing why everything you went through had to happen exactly the way it did. Because the level you are stepping into cannot be entered casually, and the weight of what is being released tonight will require you to stand firm, remain grounded, and continue listening closely as the next instruction begins to surface in your spirit, guiding you toward decisions that may not make sense to others, but will make perfect sense in heaven. Especially when the first unexpected opportunity presents itself and you realize this is only the beginning of what has been set in motion. Because from this moment forward, nothing moves randomly anymore. Everything aligns intentionally, and the unfolding will continue as you step forward, prepared to respond when the next door opens and the next sign confirms that this is not imagination. This is activation. And what happens next will require you to move without hesitation, because the window is opening and the timing is critical. And the next phase begins when you choose to act on what you are sensing right now, even if your hands are shaking, even if your mind is racing, because faith does not wait for comfort. It moves when called. And the call is happening now as the path ahead starts to reveal itself piece by piece, moment by moment, leading you into situations that stretch you again, but this time not to break you, this time to elevate you. As the momentum builds and the rhythm continues, pulling you forward into what has been reserved only for those who endured until this very moment. And as you remain attentive, grounded, and obedient, you will notice that the next sign will appear in a way that feels familiar yet completely new, and it will require you to respond without overthinking, because the instruction will be clear, and the alignment will be undeniable, and the journey continues from here as the next layer begins to unfold, because the unfolding never happens all at once. It happens in waves, and right now you are standing in the first wave of recognition, the moment where your spirit says yes before your circumstances catch up. You may still be in the same room, the same city, the same routine, but internally something has shifted. Your posture has changed. Your tolerance for distraction has dropped. Your patience for excuses has expired. That is how you know the transition has begun. When your inner world upgrades before your outer world does, it is a signal that manifestation is already in motion. There will be moments very soon where you are tempted to explain yourself, to convince people you are changing, to announce that something big is coming. Resist that urge. Silence will protect what explanation would expose too early. What God is building around you requires incubation, not commentary. The chosen ones learn when to speak and when to stay still. You have already spoken enough through endurance. Now your consistency will do the talking. Do not be surprised if old doors suddenly try to reopen. People who once doubted you may reach out casually. Opportunities that once ignored you may resurface with urgency. This is not coincidence, this is recognition. But discernment will be required because not everything that returns is meant to re-enter your life. Some things come back only to test whether you remember why you outgrew them. You are not obligated to revisit chapters that already taught you the lesson. Your sensitivity has increased because your responsibility is increasing. You will feel things before they happen. You will sense shifts before they become visible. Trust that. You peep. Raid for clarity, and clarity is arriving as intuition sharpened by experience. What once confused you will now be obvious. What once intimidated you will now feel manageable. This is not arrogance, this is alignment. The weight you feel in your chest is not anxiety, it is anticipation. Your spirit recognizes movement. Heaven does not rush, but it does not waste time either. Everything that needed to happen before this moment has happened. Every delay fulfilled its purpose. Every loss redirected you. Every closed door refined your discernment. Nothing was random, even when it felt unfair. You are entering a phase where obedience will need to be immediate. Delayed obedience will feel uncomfortable now. You will notice that when you hesitate, the peace fades, and when you move, even cautiously, the calm returns. That is guidance. That is how you will navigate what comes next. You will not need to force doors open. The right ones will respond to your presence. There will be pressure to move fast, but wisdom will require you to move correctly. Speed without strategy creates chaos. You have been trained to wait. Now you will be trained to steward momentum. The discipline you developed in lack will protect you in abundance. Remember how you learned to value small progress, how you learned to manage limited resources, how you learned to pray before acting. Those habits are about to save you from costly mistakes. You may feel a sudden urgency to clean up areas of your life that no one else sees. Thoughts, habits, environments, conversations. That is not random. Elevation exposes everything. God is inviting you to release anything that could later compete with your focus. Not because you are being punished, but because you are being trusted with more. You will notice that your tolerance for negativity has dropped dramatically. Conversations that once felt normal now feel draining. Complaints feel loud. Gossip feels heavy. You're not becoming judgmental, you're becoming selective. Where you are going requires clarity, and clarity cannot survive in noisy environments. Soon you will be placed in rooms that feel unfamiliar, rooms where your past does not define you, rooms where your presence will speak louder than your history. You may feel out of place at first, but remember, discomfort often means growth is happening. You are not an imposter. You are an answer to a need in that room. You will also notice that some people will misunderstand your silence. Let them. Not everyone needs access to your process. Some will call you distant, others will call you changed. You have changed. That is the point. Growth always confuses those who expected you to stay the same. The chosen ones do not chase visibility. Visibility finds them when they are ready. Focus on excellence in what is in front of you right now. Excellence attracts favor without effort. The small decisions you make tonight, the discipline you show when no one is watching, the integrity you choose when shortcuts are available, these are all being recorded. Do not rush to celebrate too early. Gratitude should be constant, but celebration should be timed. There is still unfolding happening beneath the surface. What you see first will only be a fraction of what is coming. Protect your energy, guard your schedule, be intentional with your yes. There will be moments when fear tries to resurface, reminding you of past failures, past delays, past disappointments. Acknowledge it, then move anyway. Fear does not disappear at higher levels, it just changes its voice. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is obedience in spite of it. You may feel called to study, learn, or revisit knowledge you once ignored. Follow that pull. Preparation is accelerating. God often prepares the mind right before the door opens. Information you gather now will become critical later. Pay attention to what repeatedly catches your interest. It is often connected to your next assignment. Your patience will be tested differently now. Instead of waiting for something to happen, you will be waiting for the right moment to act. That requires restraint. Not every opportunity needs an immediate response. Sometimes the power is in waiting for confirmation, not impulse. You are stepping into a season where your words will carry weight. Speak carefully, speak intentionally. What you say will shape outcomes faster than before. Align your language with where you are going, not where you have been. Do not joke about failure. Do not casually speak doubt. Your voice is becoming a tool. Expect resistance when you get close to breakthrough. This is not a sign to retreat. It is confirmation that you are approaching something significant. Opposition often appears when momentum is strongest. Stay steady, stay focused. Do not let emotional reactions derail strategic movement. Your circle will continue to adjust. Some people cannot go where you are going, not because they are bad, but because they are assigned to a different path. Release them with peace. Do not force alignment where it no longer exists. What is meant to walk with you will keep pace without pressure. You will soon realize that what you thought you wanted was only a portion of what you needed. God often exceeds expectations by changing them. Be open to expansion beyond your original vision. The assignment may be larger, broader, more impactful than you imagined. Trust that you have been equipped accordingly. There will be moments of quiet where nothing seems to be happening externally. Do not mistake silence for stagnation. Seeds grow underground first. This is a building phase, not a waiting phase. Every day you show up with intention, you are contributing to momentum. Your resilience is about to pay off in ways that feel surreal. You will remember the days you questioned yourself and smile, not with bitterness, but with understanding. Everything taught you something. Nothing was wasted. Stay alert for subtle instructions, a conversation, a nudge, a thought that feels persistent. God does not always shout. Sometimes guidance comes as a calm certainty that refuses to leave. Learn to recognize that voice and respond promptly. You are not meant to do this alone. Strategic connections will appear at the right time. Not everyone will understand your journey, but the right people will recognize your spirit immediately. Pay attention to mutual respect, not flattery. Alignment feels grounded, not forced. As momentum builds, temptation will increase to prove yourself. You do not need to prove anything. Consistency will establish credibility. Let your work speak. Let your character confirm your calling. There will be moments when the magnitude of what is unfolding feels overwhelming. When that happens, return to the basics. Prayer, gratitude, discipline. Those anchors will stabilize you. You are not required to control everything, only to stay obedient. The coming season will require adaptability. Some plans will change quickly. Stay flexible. Rigidity limits growth. Trust that redirection is part of alignment. What looks like a detour is often a shortcut you could not see yet. You will notice that your confidence is becoming quieter, less reactive, less performative, more grounded. That is maturity. You no longer need constant reassurance because your assurance is internal. The next confirmations will not be dramatic at first. They will feel small but significant. A message at the right time, a door opening effortlessly, a resource appearing unexpectedly. Pay attention to patterns. Momentum often announces itself through consistency. Guard against comparison. Your journey is customized. What others receive does not diminish what is reserved for you. Comparison creates distraction, and distraction dilutes focus. Stay in your lane. There will be moments when you are tempted to rush the process because you can see the potential so clearly. Remember, timing protects impact. What arrives too early becomes a burden. What arrives on time becomes a blessing. Your faith will be required at a new level. Not faith that something will happen, but faith that you can handle it when it does. Trust that the same God who prepared the opportunity prepared you as well. You are allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. You are allowed to redefine success. You are allowed to prioritize peace over performance. This evolution is necessary for what comes next. Soon you will look back at this moment and realize it was the calm before acceleration. The moment when everything aligned internally before it exploded externally. Stay present, stay grateful, stay obedient. The path ahead will not always be clear, but the next step will be. Focus on the next right move, not the entire staircase. Clarity comes through movement, not overthinking. You are being trusted with influence because you learned compassion through hardship. You are being trusted with resources because you learned humility through waiting. You are being trusted with expansion because you learned discipline through limitation. This is why your spirit feels alert right now. This is why rest feels different. This is why your attention is sharpening. You are stepping into a season that requires awareness. Remain teachable, remain grounded, remain faithful in small things. These are the qualities that sustain success, not just attract it as the rhythm continues. You will feel the pull forward grow. Being stronger, do not resist it, do not rush it. Move with it, let alignment lead. And as you stay attentive to each instruction, each nudge, each confirmation, you will notice that the unfolding does not slow down. It becomes more intentional, more precise, more aligned with who you have become. And the journey continues from here, expanding steadily, drawing you deeper into the assignment, revealing the next layer at the exact moment you are ready to carry it. As the momentum builds and the rhythm remains unbroken, guiding you forward into what has already been set in motion. Because momentum at this level does not announce itself with noise, it announces itself with alignment, and alignment feels like things finally making sense without you forcing them. You will notice that decisions you once struggled with now resolve themselves quickly. Your clarity is sharper because your distractions are fewer. What once drained you now simply reveals itself as misaligned, and you walk away without guilt, without explanation, without the need to defend your growth. There is a new seriousness in your spirit, not heaviness, but focus. You are no longer entertained by delay disguised as comfort. You no longer negotiate with procrastination. Time feels valuable in a different way now. Minutes feel weighted. Hours feel intentional. This is what happens when purpose begins to pull louder than fear. You may feel an inner push to reorganize your life, your schedule, your priorities, your environment. This is not restlessness, this is preparation. Order creates space for expansion. God is not adding chaos to your life, He is increasing capacity, and capacity requires structure. What you organize now will sustain what arrives later. Pay attention to the way peace becomes your confirmation. Not excitement, not applause, peace. If something promises quick gain but disturbs your peace, pause. If something feels challenging but grounded, lean in. Your nervous system has been trained by survival. Now it must be retrained for stewardship. Calm is not boredom. Calm is readiness. You will soon realize that your past pain has become a form of wisdom. Situations that once triggered you now simply inform you. You see patterns quickly. You recognize motives without accusation. You respond with strategy instead of emotion. This emotional maturity is part of why you are trusted with more. Wealth without wisdom destroys. Influence without self-control corrupts. You have been shaped differently. There will be moments when others project their fears onto you. They will warn you about risks they never took. They will question decisions they never had the courage to consider. Listen politely, but move according to instruction, not opinion. Advice without alignment creates hesitation. You cannot afford hesitation in a season of movement. You are being taught to move from identity, not insecurity. You no longer need to prove that you belong. You know who you are becoming, even if you cannot yet explain it fully. Confidence rooted in identity does not need validation, it needs discipline. Expect moments where solitude becomes necessary again. Not loneliness, but intentional withdrawal. Even Jesus withdrew to pray when momentum increased. Noise confuses direction, silence sharpens it. Do not feel guilty for stepping back to hear clearly. Your generosity will increase, not just financially, but emotionally. You will have less tolerance for bitterness and more capacity for grace. This is not weakness, this is strength refined. You understand now that holding grudges wastes energy that could be used to build. Soon, you will encounter opportunities that require you to think long term. Quick wins will be tempting, but legacy decisions will demand patience. Choose legacy. Choose what still matters when emotions settle. Choose what aligns with who you are becoming, not who you were trying to escape. You will feel the responsibility of representation. People will watch how you move, even when they do not say it. Your consistency will become permission for others to believe again. This is why your conduct matters. You are not just building success, you are modeling possibility. There will be times when you miss the simplicity of before. When life felt smaller, quieter, less demanding. That nostalgia is normal, but do not confuse it with regret. Growth always costs comfort. Expansion always requires adjustment. You are not meant to go backward. You are meant to integrate who you were into who you are becoming. Your intuition will continue to strengthen. Trust it, but keep it submitted. Discernment thrives when humility remains. You do not know everything, but you know enough to take the next step. That is all that is required. As resources increase, so will requests. Not every request is your responsibility. Learn to say no without explanation. Boundaries are not selfish, they are protective. You cannot pour into everything without emptying yourself. Stewardship includes rest. You will begin to notice divine timing more clearly. Meetings that happen at the exact right moment. Delays that prevent mistakes. Redirections that save you from unnecessary losses. This is alignment in motion. Stay observant. Gratitude sharpens awareness. Your past will try to reintroduce itself occasionally through memories, through people, through doubt. Acknowledge it, then keep moving. You are not dishonoring where you came from by outgrowing it. You are honoring the lesson by applying it. There's a new level of accountability coming. What you tolerate now will shape what you attract later. Be intentional, be selective. Excellence is not perfecti. It is consistency with integrity. You will feel moments of awe when you realize how far you have come. Let those moments strengthen you, not distract you. Reflection should fuel gratitude, not complacency. Expect your faith to be stretched again, not through lack, but through responsibility. Carrying more requires trust of a different kind. Trust that you will have wisdom when decisions come. Trust that support will appear when needed. Trust that provision flows with obedience. Your voice will matter in rooms where it once did not. Speak with intention. You do not need to dominate conversations. Presence speaks louder than volume. When you speak, speak from conviction, not competition. You may be tempted to rush outcomes because you can feel the potential. Remember, pressure does not accelerate growth, alignment does. Stay patient with the process, even as momentum increases. You will start to see why certain prayers were not answered earlier, not because they were wrong, but because the timing was incomplete. What arrives now arrives with context, capacity, and clarity. There will be seasons within seasons, moments of acceleration followed by moments of stabilization. Do not panic when things slow briefly. Stabilization prevents collapse. Trust the rhythm. Your sense of purpose will deepen, not just what you do, but why you do it. Motivation rooted in purpose outlasts motivation rooted in emotion. When excitement fades, purpose sustains. You are learning to separate urgency from anxiety. Urgency comes with clarity. Anxiety comes with confusion. Move with urgency, not panic. Soon you will recognize that what once felt impossible now feels inevitable. That shift is subtle but powerful. When belief stabilizes, action becomes consistent. Stay grounded in gratitude. Gratitude keeps success from hardening your heart. Remember the people who supported you quiet. Remember the lessons learned in silence. Gratitude keeps you human. You will encounter moments where you must choose between being liked and being effective. Choose effectiveness. Respect follows results. Popularity fades quickly. Your rest will become intentional, not collapse from exhaustion, but restoration for sustainability. You are not meant to burn out. You are meant to build wisely. You will feel moments of deep calm even when things are moving quickly. That calm is confirmation. Chaos is not required for growth. As the unfolding continues, you will notice that the questions you ask have changed. Less why me and more how can I steward this well? That shift marks maturity. You are stepping into a season where prayer becomes more about alignment than rescue. Less asking to be saved, more asking to be guided. That is growth. Your resilience will be tested by responsibility, but your discipline will sustain you. Stay consistent in the small practices that kept you grounded when nothing was visible. You will begin to sense when to act and when to wait without external confirmation. That confidence comes from relationship, not logic. Do not be surprised when joy becomes quieter, but deeper. Not excitement that spikes and fades, but contentment that remains steady. You are learning to hold tension without breaking, to manage complexity without losing clarity, to lead without ego. The next phase will require adaptability. Some plans will evolve, stay open, control limits expansion. You will feel the pull to mentor, to guide, to uplift others. Do so wisely. Pour into those who are receptive, not resistant. As alignment deepens, distractions will lose their appeal. What once tempted you will now bore you. That is growth. You will notice that time feels faster, not because life is rushing, but because focus removes friction. Stay anchored in truth. Trends shift. Opinions change. Truth sustains. Your courage will be quiet but firm. You will move without needing permission. You are becoming someone who finishes what they start. That reliability will open doors. As the rhythm continues, each step builds on the last, each decision sharpening direction, each confirmation reinforcing trust, and the unfolding moves forward steadily without spectacle, but with certainty, drawing you deeper into alignment, deeper into responsibility, deeper into purpose, as you remain attentive, responsive, grounded, and ready for the next instruction that will surface right when it is needed, carrying you further into what has already begun to take shape, moment by moment, layer by layer, as the momentum holds and the journey continues without pause. Because at this stage, continuity matters more than intensity, and faith matures when it learns how to remain steady without constant emotional reinforcement. You are no longer driven by dramatic signs. You are guided by quiet assurance. That is a higher level of trust. You do not need everything explained anymore. You only need the next instruction, and even that often arrives as a knowing rather than a command. You will start noticing that your reactions are changing. Things that once provoked anxiety now invite strategy. Things that once felt overwhelming now feel solvable. This is not because the challenge has disappeared, but because you changed. Capacity has increased. Perspective has widened. You are no longer reacting from wounds. You are responding from wisdom. There will be moments when you realize you are standing in answers to prayers you prayed years ago. Prayers you may have forgotten because the waiting stretched longer than expected. Pause when that realization hits. Honor the journey. Gratitude anchors you in humility, and humility keeps doors open. Your pace will continue to adjust. Not rushed, not stagnant, but deliberate. You are learning that moving slower with clarity is more powerful than moving fast with confusion. Precision creates momentum that chaos never can. There will be an inner invitation to let go of old narratives about yourself, stories you told yourself to survive seasons that have now ended. You no longer need those stories. Release the identity shaped by struggle and step fully into the identity shaped by growth. You may notice that success feels quieter than you imagined, less dramatic, more structured, less emotional, more purposeful. That is healthy. Sustainable success rarely arrives screaming, it arrives settled. You will encounter moments where your integrity is tested in subtle ways, small compromises disguised as convenience, shortcuts presented as efficiency. This is where your preparation matters. Character is revealed in small decisions, not public moments. Your awareness of timing will sharpen. You will sense when to speak and when to stay silent, when to push and when to pause. This discernment will save you energy and protect your focus. Expect periods where you are misunderstood, where people interpret your restraint as disinterest, your boundaries as distance. Let them. You are not responsible for managing perceptions. You are responsible for stewarding purpose. You will feel the pull to invest in systems rather than moments, to build structures that last instead of chasing outcomes that fade. This shift marks leadership maturity. Your relationship with rest will evolve. Rest will no longer feel like guilt or escape. It will feel strategic, necessary. Honoring rest allows clarity to remain sharp. There will be a renewed emphasis on truth. Not what sounds good, but what is right. Not what is popular, but what is aligned. You will feel less inclined to impress and more inclined to be accurate. You may feel moments of loneliness even while surrounded by people. That does not mean something is wrong. It often means you are transitioning into a new level of responsibility where few can relate. Loneliness does not always mean lack. Sometimes it means uniqueness. You will learn to sit with unanswered questions without losing peace. Trust grows when you can wait without spiraling. That calm is evidence of maturity. Your focus will narrow, not because your world is shrinking, but because your priorities are sharpening. Focus multiplies effectiveness. You will see how emotional discipline becomes a competitive advantage. Staying calm when others panic, staying grounded when others react. That steadiness will open doors. You may feel prompted to revisit your values, to clarify what truly matters. Write them down. Values guide decisions when emotions fluctuate. As responsibility increases, so will visibility. Not all visibility is public. Some visibility happens in decision-making rooms. Be consistent everywhere, not just when watched. You will notice that your language continues to shift. Less complaint, less explanation, more intention. Words shape environments. There will be times when the weight of expectation feels heavy, when others rely on you more than before. Remember, you are not called to carry everything alone. Delegation is wisdom, not weakness. Your patience will be tested by progress that feels incremental instead of explosive. Trust the compound effect. Small aligned steps create massive outcomes over time. You will find yourself less reactive to praise and criticism alike. Both lose power when identity is stable. You may feel the urge to simplify, to remove excess, to create space. Simplicity sharpens clarity. Your confidence will feel less emotional and more rooted, less dependent on outcomes and more anchored in. Obedience. There will be moments when fear attempts to return, reminding you of what could go wrong. Let fear inform preparation, not prevent action. You are learning to lead yourself before leading others. Self-leadership sustains influence. You will feel gratitude for delays you once resented. Understanding reframes pain. Expect moments of deep alignment where effort feels light. Flow replaces force. Your intuition will be refined through experience. You will trust it more, question it less, yet always keep it grounded. You will see that discipline is freedom. Structure creates space to breathe. You may feel compelled to protect your mornings, your thoughts, your inputs. What you consume shapes how you lead. Your emotional range will widen. You will feel deeply without being controlled by feeling. There will be times when you must choose courage over comfort. Growth demands bravery. You will stop waiting for permission. Alignment grants authority. Your sense of responsibility will expand beyond yourself. Impact invites stewardship. You will recognize that some doors close after success, not before it. Protection continues. You will feel the satisfaction of consistency. Showing up matters. Your understanding of abundance will deepen. It is not excess, it is sufficiency with purpose. You will move from asking, "Is this possible?" to asking, "Is this aligned?" You will become more patient with others, understanding that everyone grows at a different pace. Your expectations will become realistic, yet hopeful. Balanced faith sustains momentum. You will experience moments where gratitude feels overwhelming. Let it ground you. You will learn to measure progress by alignment, not applause. Your discernment will protect you from unnecessary battles. You will value truth over agreement. You will notice that clarity often comes after action, not before. Your sense of identity will feel settled, less questioned, more owned. You will embrace responsibility without resentment. You will stop romanticizing struggle. Growth does not require suffering. You will feel peace even in complexity. You will trust the process even when you cannot see the full picture. You will stay present, not consumed by what is next. You will move with intention, not impulse. You will notice how far you have come without losing hunger. You will choose consistency over intensity. You will protect alignment fiercely. You will recognize that this unfolding has its own rhythm, steady and deliberate, revealing itself as you move forward without forcing, without rushing, without retreating, allowing each step to inform the next, remaining attentive to the quiet confirmations, responsive to the subtle shifts, grounded in purpose, disciplined in action, and open to continued guidance as the momentum carries on seamlessly, drawing you further into what has already begun, with no abrupt ending, no final declaration, only continued movement, continued alignment, continued unfolding as the journey presses forward from here. As this moment settles into your spirit, understand that what you have heard is not meant to excite you briefly, but to anchor you permanently. This is not the end of a message. It is the confirmation of a calling that has been unfolding your entire life. You were never overlooked, never delayed without reason, never tested without purpose. Every step, every silence, every struggle refined you for what you now have the capacity to carry. What is coming is not arriving to change who you are, but to reveal who you've already become. Walk forward without fear, without haste, and without doubt, knowing that heaven does not initiate what it does not intend to complete, and the same hand that guided you through the process will sustain you in the promise, establish you in wisdom, and keep you grounded as the manifestation continues to unfold exactly as it was designed to, in perfect alignment at the appointed time.